Hi guys, Togo here with a new video, and this video will be a talk about the servers coming into fresh classic World of Warcraft. And as you may know, they're going to open up the fresh servers with three server types. So we have a PvP one, a PvE one, which are like the two normal ones we have. There is no plans for RP PvP or RP PvE. It is what it is. But they're going to open up also hardcore. Now, as you may know, I am going to roll on a PvP server because I already counted multiple reasons why. Because I am a PvPer, I love to PvP, I love world PvP in general, open world PvP, BGs, everything combined, and also the classic feel comes from doing all sorts of activities by fishing and having someone gank me, or see someone fish and gank him, or like in STV having those big battles, especially at the start of a fresh, like all mid levels, like between 30 and 40 versus other mid levels 30 and 40, and like having those big battles, or like for example soft short versus Tyrant Mill, and that is like organic. You could also have organized with Discord or whatever, but it is also very organic, and that's what I like about fresh classic, is that they're going to give another reason why to roll PvP. If you're going to say, look, I don't want to roll PvP because I don't want to like live the 90% alliance versus 10% horde days, or vice versa, 10% alliance and 90% horde days, which also known on my servers, where I first and foremost played on Mograine, then I played on Earthshaker, and then I went to Firemaw at the end. But the issue was every single server turned into a very imbalanced server, and that's true. In 2019 they did nothing into the faction balance, and as you may see on your screen, they're going to enforce faction balance, as you may know, in SOD. So it means that if there are too many alliance players, you will not be able to be alliance on that server. It is very annoying for the people that do want to play with their friends and they come too late, but it is kind of the best situation for a great server balance. And if server balance is great on a PvP server, it becomes very fun and very organic on how PvP happens. Obviously, PvP will happen on a PvP server, which means you're going to get ganks, you're going to gank, you're going to camp, you're going to get camped, you're going to get like camped by a level 60 while you are on Red Ridge at one point, like in phase 2 or phase 3. It just is bound to happen. Unfortunately, you will always have some people that have fun with the misery of other people. It is what it is. I would not gank like level 10s as a level 60. I think it's quite stupid. But again, I understand why they do that. Or at least I understand, although I don't really condone it. But I understand their POV. It's fun. It's dumb fun. It is what it is. But that's kind of PvP on a PvP server. And it will be faction balanced. So it means that if you're alliance, you're not going to be sticking around versus 10 horde. You're going to obviously have 10 alliances with you guys as well. Except if your realm for some reason have like people that are not going to be engaged with PvP while on the PvP server, so why are they there in the first place? That's another question. But the idea is that the balance will be there, and that is the reason why I want to show you guys the blue post, so you can also believe not only Wohead, not only me, but also Blizzard. And that's always going to be what they're going to do with like fresh classic right now. So first and foremost, Blizzard character transfers. On these new anniversary realms, transfers will be unavailable except for transfers to a normal realm for hardcore characters. So it means that if you're playing hardcore and you die, you can only go to a normal realm. So that kind of sucks for me. So that kind of makes hardcore already a no-go to me, because I don't want to put hours without like having at least a backup. So if it's not possible to go PvP for me, it's already not in my plans to play hardcore directly. That's probably going to be a phase 5 kind of thing for me if I went for hardcore. But also, normal realm characters must remain on normal realms, and PvP realm characters will be locked to PvP realms. So you cannot say, look, I'm tired of PvP, I'm going to go to a normal server. That is not possible. And that's a great thing. You don't want to have like Alliance or Horde running away from a server and making it like very imbalanced in the faction balance. So that's a good thing. They also, I think they did that for SOD as well, and it worked out pretty well actually, because the faction balance was good on SOD until maybe a certain point, again depending on like people not playing anymore. But it was alive at the start, especially at the start, but they kind of dropped the ball with SOD. That's another discussion, to be fair. But I think with this PvP realm, it's going to be good. So on hardcore realms, should players wish to transfer either dead or living characters to a normal realm, they will be also able to do so. There's no way to transfer back to hardcore realms, and that is logical. Now, the important thing, and also the most interesting thing about this video, is that you're going to have enforced faction balance on PvP realms. And if you don't know how it works, it is written how it isn't. How it is actually written. So in Season of Discovery, we implemented enforced faction balance on all PvP realms. So this also means that the population of Horde and Alliance characters on each PvP realm remains almost perfectly balanced. And that is true, it is almost perfectly balanced. I think like they were very proud about SOD on how the faction balance was working, and they had like statistics that was never like seen before in 2019. There was only one, if I'm not mistaken, one faction balanced PvP realm, and there was Grobolus. I think it was also an RP realm, if I'm not mistaken. But again, it was the only one, and it is a US realm, if I'm not mistaken. In EU, you had none. Um, and this is actually great. So I'm gonna give you also another reason why you want to roll PvP. But first and foremost, let's keep it in classic. If the faction balance ever starts to lean too far in one direction or the other, character creation for the more populist side is temporarily paused until balance is restored. They are going to do that from the start pretty much. I known that it was annoying at the start because some friends I had to convince to go back to Alliance. Although at one point they said, no, we're not going to go Alliance, we're going to go on an unpopulated server in SOD, and we went Horde. And that was a mistake for me to not like set my foot and say, look, we should go Alliance, because that is just literally the faction we play the most, and it is most suited for us. But at the end, we did the mistake, and then we went back to Alliance at phase 4 or something like that, which was a regret because it was way too late for me. I didn't want to play SOD anymore at that point. But again, temporarily paused, so it means that it can also be restored at one point once the balance is done. You could wait for the balance, but I'm going to be saying that if you really want to have like one faction and you want to follow your friends, try to do so the first few days, even like the first day if you could, so you could actually like organize yourself and then not like have a problem where your friends are level 15 and they are Alliance and you still have no place for you to go Alliance, for example. The idea is there's only one server, so normally it should be a 50-50, but if in any case you have a faction that is overtaking it, it will be seen directly because of the faction lock. And that's a great system. So the results have been overwhelmingly successful, and feedback on the system has been positive. And I agree. I think it's overweighing the negatives, which is not having like your friends with you or whatever. That can always be worked on with your friend group. If your friends group like say, look, we don't want to abandon like 3 guys, we're going to change back to Horde or Alliance. It can be done, but the balance itself is for the best. Like for the whole server, it is for the best. So that's why I do like. Therefore, we will also enforce faction balance on new anniversary PvP realms. Good thing to note. I wanna like say to you, if you've known TBC or you have known Wrath of the Lich King, or even now on Cataclysm, if you're playing on a server, for example, you're on Firemaw in EU, or you're on Gehennas in EU, or you are like on Whitemane on NA, or whatever server they have, the population of that server is leaning towards 99% Alliance or 99% Horde. So you didn't even have any PvP interaction in the world in TBC or in Wrath of the Lich King, and I really despise that. I didn't like it because that's not what I known before back in the day. Already, flying mounts kind of kills PvP already, but like having flying mounts and having zero horde or zero lines on the server really kills like the whole vibe with how PvP works in my mind. But with these, if again, it is progressive, guys. So it means that it is enforced faction balance. We have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, phase 6, and now you see me coming into TBC 50-50 balancing, and the TBC realms are going to open up, and then you have like the first zone literally swarmed with PvP interactions. And that's what I like. That's what I really play World of Warcraft. I play for the leveling in Classic, especially the raiding, the social experiments, the dungeons, which I really liking. I think Classic dungeons has been like the best ones in my mind, especially BRD, for example. Really, really fun dungeon. It's a mega dungeon in nowadays retail, for example. And I play first and foremost for PvP, for open world PvP. That's what I played whenever I was young. I went on the account of my dad and literally played on my hunter, and I did hours without end just PvP in the brackets for BGs, for example. I did Warsong Gulch, I did Arati Basin, I played on my 19 twink, or I played on my 29 twink, or even I just like while leveling, I just wanted to queue and get some like PvP going. Or whenever I'm in STV, I see a horde, I shoot. I see something red, I try to kill it, pretty much. And I really like that. Like, I always like that. And even whenever I get camped, I was very annoyed because I was a kid, so obviously I put a tantrum. But at the end, I have a lot of good memories from it because I really like the interactions with other people, and that's what I like about PvP. You have interactions with other people, and I want that again, and that's why I roll PvP. I want you guys to roll PvP as well. If you're like into PvP, that's like a given. You should roll PvP. If you're not a streamer, again, you have nothing to be afraid. There are not like 15 guys going to run around and follow you around and try to like make you quit. Like some people have those problems, and those are the streamers, right? We don't care about them. We want to have fun each other with PvP and with like the interactions we could have with PvP, the events that we can create with Discord or like between content creators. Because again, I really like how the community can shape up into something that can be very fun for all parties. And with the idea of having TBC realms being also PvP active and Wrath of the Lich King realms in the future, I think they're going to do that. I think it's a given. They're not going to give you a date, but it's going to happen. Um, that would be also fantastic. That's something I really liked on the first iteration of progressive servers. Even in Cataclysm right now, I don't really care because it feels like we're playing purely on like instanced PvP and that's it. And although this is probably the PvP, like the sort of PvP that I do anyways the most, I like to have the choice of sometimes encountering other hordes or other alliances depending on what faction you are, and like destroy them. That's part of the charm, part of being a rogue, trying to camp, like trying to gang someone. I said camp, but pretty much gang them and then maybe camp them if you really don't like them. Not for too long, like only 2 kills, and if they don't wanna like interact with you, just leave at that point. But again, you know the drill. Like try to like have interactions with people in open world, and even then, like if I'm a hunter, I get like ganked at that point. If I feel like it's unfair, I try to find friends, and then those friends are going to protect me. But I think that's something that you really liked in TBC and really liked in Wrath of the Lich King, and that's why I'm actually very excited about this. It's not only about Classic; it's like the whole thing is going to go back to normal, and it's an occasion to actually like relive it in a better way. Remember phase one for like classic 2019? I felt like it was very good balancing at the start. It was actually very good because it was like playing for like nothing. It was literally we PvP because we like PvP. There was like no honor system, if I'm not mistaken, or not really no honor system. Excuse me, but like I think the honor gains were like so little because there were no BGs, so you couldn't really farm to get rank 14. It's normal, but you would PvP for the feel of PvP at that point. You just wanted to have your trinket, for example. You wanted to grind some ranks, but it was there. We did some social versus Taran mills. We did even like some Tanaris PvP. We did some STV PvP. It was actually great. And then phase two came, and for some reason, they, they opened up transfers, and at that point it became just unfun. You got camped by 10 hordes, and you were like in minority, so people didn't want to go BRD, or they didn't want to go in like in those rush hours pretty much, where hordes would just camp you, and that was not fun. But like phase one, where it was balanced, it was probably one of the best PvP experiences you could have on Classic, and now you will have it for all 6 phases plus TBC plus Wrath of the Lich King eventually. So I think it's a great thing, and just having that visioned by me, how I vision it right now, how I envision it just right now. If I think about next week and how it will pan out, I think it's like ideal to go PvP. And in general, I believe the whole classic feel and the classic how it actually plays out and how it is always has been about PvP in my mind. Like if people remember classic, they do remember also the STV Vietnam kind of thing, right? They also think about BRM, like those big battles, just because you wanted to not let the other guys raid, for example, and then become like really like a open battlefield until you have some control and then you can go raid. And now you have Chronoboom Displacer, so who cares if you die? You still have your world buffs. So I think it's, again, a great possibility for the community to choose PvP, to say, look, we're going to give a try to balanced servers, and now they're going to enforce it, so there is no other way to have it not balanced. It will be balanced, so nobody's going to like have a 90% horde or alliance server except PvE. So I think that is probably the best choice in my mind to go into PvP realms. Now I understand some people don't like PvP, and that's fine. There are normal servers for you. There is also hardcore for you guys. But for the people that don't, maybe like they like PvP, but they don't want to have like these situations that they had in Classic, where the servers were so bad because it was imbalanced, and they now are like hesitating because they don't want to relive it. Be assured, it will not you will not relive it again, because it will be balanced. It will have enforced faction balance, and that itself is a huge positive, probably the best news you would have for a fresh Classic. Again, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.